Good luck, ladies.
Thank you.
If I get up,
You can't see. I can only see mine. You can't see the screen.
so why is the drink so far?
So we can.
Some people do not have drinks.
What are you talking about?
The drinks.
I'm thirsty.
Everybody has.
What you want me? You can get up. I am, but I know I'm recording.
Can I?
These are sisters, as you can tell.
I see a drink right in front of you.
We're live. All right. I want to say thank you so much for joining us on today. I'm Cheryl Clark from the Speaking Power Now, and I'm here with my family and friends. And I also have some friends on Zoom that decided to come and join us on today. I have some speakers here. First, I want to introduce my pastor and my friend Naomi Cook and Pastor Debra. Thank you so much for joining. And Naya's in the background. I see you, Naya. Blessings. All right, are they unmuted? Because I couldn't hear them.
Yes, we do. Can you hear us?
We can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you loud and clear.
Good to be here. God bless you, everyone.
All right. And Evangelist Rennee, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. We're going to come back around. People are starting to come in, and we're going to let them in, and we're going to have a good time. And I have people here I'm going to introduce who are around my table. We are having a virtual brunch. We are having a virtual brunch, mother-daughter healing wounds brunch today. And I want to just say this is an opportunity for us to get together. I don't know where Jeanetta went, but we'll wait for her to come back in as well. But we want to make sure that you are here with us. And if you're coming in with your mother, your sister, your brothers, well, not your brothers, your mother, your sister, your cousins, everybody, your friends, come around and get together. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to partake. Mother, would you? This is my mother to my left. And I want to make sure that she's here. And you want to greet the people, Mom?
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. God bless you all. So happy that you showed up this morning. And I just want to let you know that you're not going to be the same after today. Once you start the healing process, it goes on. And you just want to touch every life that you come in contact with. So today is going to be an awesome day. I'm so happy to be here with friends and family. It's just an awesome time. So welcome. Thank you for showing up this morning.
And also, I have Q and her family here. Introduce your mom. She's beautiful, your sister.
Hi, everybody. This is my mother, Mercie, and this is my younger sister, Andrea. We are the three queens.
Right.
I like that a lot. All right. So if you have your beautiful, I want to show you our spread, what we got here today. So that way, if you have your spread going on at your table, it's a virtual. This is how you have a virtual brunch. So we'll see what we have. We have some sushi down here. I don't know why this part is down here and then because I don't eat sushi. But my daughter Jeanetta does. I'm gonna tell her we're gonna introduce everybody who's at the table. But we're gonna show you what we have. We have chicken and waffles here. We have bacon. We have sausage. We have a crudité plate. And we got our famous. My daughter made it. A mimosa. So there you go. Naomi, we'll save you some. All right. So let me tell you the reason why I decided to go ahead and do a virtual Mother's Day healing brunch. I am a mother of 6, but out of the 6 children, I have 4 young ladies. And I want to introduce them, and I want I want all this to introduce their family who's with them. My eldest daughter is Jeanetta.
Hi, I'm Jeanetta.
She is my firstborn, and I want to say Pastor Debra's favorite child. She does not. She agrees. You saw her. She disagreed. She agreed. She's talking, but we can't hear her.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer, Pastor. That's a real good answer. All right. Then we have, I'll go in order. Then we have Jordan, she's not the second, but she's the second oldest girl in the family. And this is Jordan. Wait, do you want to be called Joe?
I mean, I'm Joe. Jordan.
There you go. And this is that conversation. Like, she want to be called Joe. So now I named her Jordan, but she said, I want to be named. This is an adult conversation we're having now, right? I want to be named Joe. I want to be called Joe. I got it. Then my third oldest daughter is JL. We call her Ellie. Ellie is my third. She always smiling, so she always smiling. And then we have the baby of the bunch, and we call her Tootie, but her name is Jeanetta.
Hi guys.
And then at the helm of a Wouldn't Be Free, this is Maddie Young. She is the rock of the family, and she is here with me, and I'm happy that she's here. And this also doubles as your birthday month. So
Yes.
yes. So I'm excited about that.
Amen.
All right, you want to greet it? Did you greet them before?
Yes, I did. Thank you all for being here.
All right, so let's go around the table. Q, tell them why you came and why you're here, and introduce your family, and then tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, the reason why I decided to join this conversation with daughters and mothers is because I've been part of the Speaker Power Now Academy, and I've been getting so much help with it. So I felt that this would be a great opportunity to expose my mother and my daughter, my mother and my sister.
She said, I got one mom.
To expose them, and then also I believe that they too can get the help, and then also help us as three women who live together communicate.
Wow.
So we already know how that works.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mom, what you want me to call you? Miss Mercie? How you want me to address you? Mercie. Such a beautiful, and that orange, and you are looking nice in that orange. I love chocolate skin on these bright colors, don't you? Oh my God, I love it. Greet the people with your beautiful daughters.
Okay, my name is Mercie, and I live with my two daughters. This is my firstborn. Her name is Kyusha, but she like to call Q.
That's an adult conversation again, right?
She likes to call Q. And my second daughter name is Andrea, but she likes to call Julia. That's how we do it.
I get it, Mom.
And sometimes they don't really call me mom. She call me Mitzi.
Wow.
And she call me queen. She call me princess. Everything in the house.
All right, got it. See these adult conversations. Here we go. All right, so let's bring it over to our panel. Let's start with Pastor Debra and Naomi. Introduce yourself and why you guys decided to say yes to today.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Well, my name is Debra Jordan, and I'm so excited when Cheryl told me that what she was having. I was such a yes because I'm into women empowerment, especially us people, women of color, and I'm just excited when an opportunity presents itself, especially for me, to connect with the other ladies, especially with my daughters. I'm always a yes for them. I'm so excited that I have my daughter with me as well as my granddaughter. So I have two generations here that's representing me on this morning. So I'm just so thankful to be here. So I'm going to pass it over to Naomi.
Wow. Well, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. And my motto is when 2 to 3 Black women get together.
All right now.
Create and impact in the world. So while we're gathering together, we're creating impact in this world as we're healing and continue to heal ourselves, our family, our household. This is how we make impact into the world. And I'm happy to be here with my youngest daughter, Naya Cook, and my
Yay! Nathan doubles as my God here to come. I'm glad he's here. I'm super glad he's here. All right, so let's go ahead. I can't really see what's happening. Can you hear me, Pastor?
Yes, I was going to say one last thing. Thank you again for creating this here because, as Naomi said, the imagination and power is so powerful. And we're here today to change the narrative of us being women, mothers, daughters, and granddaughters. So thank you.
Yes, that was great. Greatly said. And Pastor, May also doubles as Mental Health Awareness Month. And that's the reason why I also decided that I was going to do this on today and just have this opportunity to be with one another. So I want to say that I'm so honored. If you don't know me, I also double as a therapist, and our mental health and psychotherapy is so important in our community. And as we begin to build the conversation, I'm so super excited about it. So thank you so much, Pastor Debra and Minister Naomi Cook and Naya and my godson Nathan for joining. Thank you so much. Okay, Jeanetta, Coach Jeanetta, First Lady Jeanetta, why don't you introduce who you got with you? My favorite young lady.
Thank you, Coach Cheryl, and good morning to Pastor Debra and all the other speakers on the panel. My name is Coach Yeboah. This is my beautiful daughter, Esther Yeboah, and we are so delighted to be here today for this amazing conversation that definitely needs to be released into our community. Thank you, Coach Cheryl.
Thank you, Coach Jeanetta. I'm so excited that you decided to come and bring Princess Esther with you on today. She is such a joy. Esther, you want to greet everybody?
Hello, everyone. My name is Esther Yeboah.
Yes, it is.
I'm here with my mom, Coach Jeanetta Yeboah, and hi, Coach Cheryl, and hi, Coach
You did great. You did great. Let's give her a hand because we gotta pick up the next generation, no matter how and she, and Jeanetta, show your table because I know that she has she put together her table. She told me, Coach Cheryl, I want to put my table together. So let me see her table.
Oh, Cheryl, well, I can hold it up because of the way we have the camera.
Yeah.
We don't want the
Okay.
computer. So she did her beautiful arrangement, and she arrangement of a penguin. And let me see.
Aww.
Her orange juice cup.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Junior Coach Esther. I appreciate you taking the time to get your table set. Pastor Debra, you really love that, don't you, Pastor Debra?
Yes, and yes. I mean, I'm just loving it.
Yeah. She said she's already in the making, getting her little everything together. There you go. All right. Now we have a special guest also, Evangelist Rennee. Please introduce yourself and tell us why you decided to handle them today.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Evangelist Rennee Hubb, and I bring greetings from Maryland. I'm honored to be a part of this great conversation, and I agree it is definitely something that needs to be had in our community. We need to talk about mental health. We need to talk about how we can come together and unify each other. Because generally, when women come together, they don't see us as being unified. So I feel like we are starting a trend that can definitely be continued. And also mental health, with so many people going through mental health crises, we need to know that it's okay to have these conversations with our mothers and with our children as well. And also I am an author, I am an evangelist, I'm a mother, a grandmother as well. I have 2.5 children. I say half because I raised my little sister from 12 on up as well. So again, thank you for having me, and I look forward to engaging with everyone on today.
Oh, wow. Wow. What's the name of your book and where can they find your book at? And we're going to do it at the end, but they can also know what that is.
Sure. My book is called From Bound to Bound. You can find it on Amazon and also on my website. Life and how I battled with suicide and battled with By the time I was 18, I had 2 children. So raising them and understanding who I was, and losing my mother at a young age as well. So it basically talks about my life and how God carried me through certain periods of my life.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. We appreciate that. So, yeah. So what we have here today is that we have combined with Survive to Thrive. Christy Monroe, she's going to be coming up a little later. And while the time we're going to do this, I want everybody to eat while we're talking. So feel free to, get some food while we're having a conversation. Talk about that to take some other food on that side. There's food all over. But we want to see where in the space. And I'm so glad Evangelist Rennee really touched on the space and the place of the past, because that's where we're going to start on. I want to be transparent right now. The reason why I wanted to have this conversation is that my mother and I didn't have the best relationship. And then we started, as we got older, it became better. Would you say?
Absolutely. Those teenage years was nothing to, I must say, when she turned to a certain age, I was like, who child is this? What happened? And later on, things started to, it got worse before it got better. But then after a while, we started to communicate a little more, and she started to, I would say, listen. I had to pull her real close and said to her, if anybody on this planet loves you, it's your mother. What would I do without loving you? I gotta love you. I gave birth to you. And once it kind of grasped, like, maybe she's telling the truth, that this is an undying love. So once I got her attention and said, I love you no matter what, things started to turn a little. I mean, it didn't turn overnight, but it was a gradual process. But once she came to realization that a mother's love is something that you don't just shy away from. It's a true thing. So once she kind of grasped that, our relationship started to change to a better relationship, I would say.
Yeah, there was a lot of painful arguments, painful things that happened. We said painful things.
Absolutely.
Well, I know, and I had to really understand what it looked like. Then I had girls, and I have 2 sons too. I'm a mother of 6. But when I had the girls, my girls was really in a space where I was younger. So Jeanetta, as my oldest daughter, what could you speak to that in regards to it was a rocky?
That is putting it mildly, very mildly. But like I'm grateful for the experiences I had as the eldest of 6. Like it was kind of daunting, because you guys were very young parents and you were just learning how to become a family, especially like having both of you guys in my life, and we're living in New York City, and not a lot of people can say they come from 2-parent homes. So I'm very grateful for that. It was very rocky, but at the end of the day, I'm grateful for the experience that I had, because it made me the person I am today. So.
Oh, Jeanetta's gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry, Nate. That was good. And then just thank you for that. And then with Jordan, my second oldest daughter. Now this was like my daughter that we would watch things together. We were like really rocking for a moment there, and then high school came. What happened? I don't know what happened, but something happened in our relationship that shifted us. What would you say?
Yeah, there was like a barrier put between us. Like I was just growing, and it was hard for you to see that I was becoming an adult.
Oh wow!
So it was like you still trying to see me as a child. It's like I'm an adult. I'm a woman. I'm not a little girl. I think that we got better.
Yeah, and we're still healing.
Yeah,
I will say we're still healing our relationship. But it's just the fact of how to have that any other people that would like to have a conversation about how coming from the healing the past, because we had to. I work on. I was a yeller, a mother that yelled all the time. But I got it from my mother,
Oh, yes.
right? And we were yelling. I was yelling and yelling and yelling and yelling and yelling all the time. And my kids was like, stop yelling. And I had to heal the pain of the past. So I want to see where, just into the conversation here about what that looks like.
The healing.
Yeah, the healing. Anybody can talk too. Yeah.
I would say, as far as healing goes, like everyone's process is different, you know. So like everyone doesn't know how to especially if you don't have the language to speak on what is concerning both parties. There's nothing really you can do unless y'all actually have that conversation. So I feel like communication is the first step, and then allowing people to take their time, because not everyone can process the same way that you can. So it took me a while to accept that, because I was not allowing you to have the process, and I was just giving myself the process. So once I took myself out of it, and it wasn't just about me, and it was about us thing, then I was able to accept you for who you are, and then you were able to see me for who I am. And it's still ongoing, but it's way better. I definitely can say it's way better.
Yeah. I thank you for that. Any other about you? Or yes.
Oh, so I was gonna say, because we were laughing over here because we relating to you. Our mom was yelling all the time too. We were just like, man, you gotta stop yelling.
You gotta stop yelling.
And I agree, like communication was key, but I also just had to learn, like, I can't keep matching her energy and yelling with her too.
Wow, that's good.
It got us nowhere.
Yeah.
So I had to work on myself and say, be calm. It's okay. Let her speak. Hear what she has to say, and then say, Mom, but I need you to hear me when I say this. I need you to listen when I'm saying this. I hear you and I understand what you're saying. And that's how we're learning how to communicate. It's like less tension, like less arguments between us. Like we get over fights and arguments quicker than before. I'd go run to my room and I'm closing the door and don't talk to me for the rest of the week. So I let it go down. Now I'm just like, girl, you ain't got time for that. We're getting older. Let's move forward.
All right, let's go to our guests. Let's go to our panelists. Naomi and Pastor, what do you guys think about this conversation we got going on here with adult and transitioning from adults? You know, girls have. I know Naomi has two beautiful girls, and I know Pastor has two beautiful girls. So tell us your experience with that.
So one of the things I was just sharing with, I know probably about a year ago, or my oldest daughter, she didn't like for me to call her like when I say my girls, and it was, she's only, I mean, she's 22, but you know, having that conversation with her of just saying, you know, it's very much maternal endearment of even hearing my grandmother when she talks about her girls and her four girls, she will say, well, you know, I didn't raise my girls like that. And I mean, my mom is in her 60s, you know, but, you know, I'm now, as I get older, I now take enjoyment of hearing my mom says, you know, I didn't raise my girls like this, or, you know, I had my girls, you know, this way or that way, of just showing, you know, that connection, and to be even being seen, that it is almost like going back of a remembrance. And so that's what I just wanted to share. And I always tell my oldest, I'm like, you will always be my little girl, but I know you are a full woman in your own right, and still evolving as a full woman, just as I am through this process. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Amen. And for me, as a mother, as well as a grandmother, my daughters are always my daughter, and I'm still learning at 60, mother, because you don't get a book to tell you the do's and don'ts of parenting. It's just there. It just happens. I know for me, it did, and we as African Americans and people of color, we're very communicate tribal and very communicate. Well, this is what my mom did, so my mom did it, worked for me, so I'm gonna do the same thing. So it's something that is that is embedded on the inside. It's almost like it's DNA. I mean, this is what I did. This is how my mama raised me, and I'm gonna raise my children the same way. It worked, and it's good. But we're living in a society today that things in life is changing. There's so many other things. There's so much that is more accessible than when we were raising our children. I know for me personally. So I'm in a space now with my daughters as well as with my grandchildren. I think looking back, I have a better relationship with my grandchildren than I do with than I did with my daughters, and I'm contributing that to being open and accepting everything that they are and everything they are not, and not trying to mold them in what I think, even though I feel so I'm right, but I'm living in a space that perhaps you may right, it's their choice, and allowing them to be with that choice. So that's what I'm learning as a mother and as a grandmother, allowing my daughters to live in a space of choice and not trying to go in and rescue them. They have to learn how to say this, and they have to understand and know their God. Not, it's just not enough to know the God of Debra, but they got to know the God, their own God, for their own self.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo.
But knowing that, Lord, you're going to take care of it. I'm going to take my part. Now, Father, I'm allowing you to take, you're going to take care of the rest of it for me. And whatever choices they make, whether I agree or disagree, to be able to stand there and say, you know, I'm here for you whenever you need me. So that's the thing that I'm creating for my daughters and my granddaughters.
Yeah, that's great. You know, Pastor, it's amazing you said that, because I remember when growing up in my household with my grandma, because, you know, back then nobody took care of you. Like, you went to your grandma's house and they would take care of you. There was no thing, you know, you went to nursery school, maybe you hit 4 or 5. But my relationship with my grandma, and I'm looking at my girls, their relationship with their grandma was like me and my grandma. So I call grandma mommy. That was my mommy. That was, you know, because I was raised like that. Q, you shaking your head? Could you relate?
Yeah, because my mom always told me I called my grandmother mommy before I ever called her mommy.
Oh, wow.
Now, the reason why I sent her back home to Haiti.
I moved to Haiti.
Okay, guys.
For 2 years to live with my mom. So when I went back to get her 2 years later, she told me, "You're my sister, you're not my mom." Okay.
All right. Yeah. So I think that's cultural, like Pastor was saying, that the cultural conversation that we have, like Big Mama watches the children, and now it's like that. How do you now position yourself as mom? So like right now, I'm positioning myself with my girls as mom, and my mother, I'm honoring her as the matriarch of the family. But I also got to recognize my own strength in my relationship with them as their mother. And at times I like to tell my Mom, I'm going to do it this way. And she didn't agree with a lot of stuff to how I did it, because her thing was smack them. Her thing was beat them. Her thing was to do that. Evangelist Hubb, is there anything that you would like to say about that, Evangelist Rennee?
I want to say that I agree with what everyone is saying, and I know for me that has been my struggle, because my children are grown, and you always want to be their mother. You never want to see them bump their head, and you never want to see them make the same mistakes that you made or decisions that you made. So I'm learning now that I love you, I taught you the right way, but I also have to back up and allow you to make your decisions. And as a mother, it's natural for us to, if they need us financially, we want to be there because we don't want to see the struggle. If we see them in a relationship and we're like, no, like, do you see all the red flags? We want to stop them. But I'm learning
Yeah.
Sometimes we hinder what God wants to do in their life when we do that.
You're right.
Mistakes that I made and work together for my good. So we have to allow them to make those mistakes so they can know that all things work together for your good. And even as a parent, when you stay up, you still have to pray. They may be grown, they may think they know all the decisions and choices to make, but you still have to nurture them by praying. And I'm learning that by me stepping back and praying for them, God can hear my prayer and He can be there.
Yes, yes.
So that's the biggest thing to do, is to allow them to make their mistakes and their decisions. And we can pray, talk, but I'm learning the more you talk, the less they listen.
You know, you're right. And Evangelist Rennee, you know what I heard there too? Give it to God. I never understood why my mother was always having me to pray. I was so annoyed. I was just annoyed with the praying. I was like, enough with the praying. Every time I got up, we would pray before we leave the door. She, because back in the day, they put the slab of the Vaseline on your face. So she slapped the Vaseline, me and my brother's face, and then she like, pray. And then we got to pray. And I'm like, I memorized the Lord's my shepherd. I shall not want to. That was before I walk out the door. Now I understand. Because that commercial that comes on, do you know where your children are? Oh my God. Right? I was like, yes, I know where my children are. Yes. There was a time I couldn't answer that yes. And I had to put them in God's hands. Because that was nerve-wracking for me not to know where my children are. But I had to know that they were in God's hands, and I understood the prayer. Anybody want to say anything about that? Yes, Q.
The whole entire thing about, do you know where my kids are?
Yeah,
she'd be laying in her bed, like, I know where my kids are.
Yeah.
The other one's over here, so I'm good.
We all did that. That wasn't you, much, just you. We all did that. They over there. Yep. Until one day somebody snuck out. Until one day I said, you know where your children are? And I was like, she ain't in her bed. She not in her bed, right? Remember that? That was the scariest moment. You think that your child's in your bed and she not in the bed. I wonder which one is that. You would think.
Yeah. My biggest problem is that when they step out of the house, they're not little kids anymore, but I still like, oh my God. I called her, she didn't pick up. Maybe she had a car accident. Maybe it's like, I hate that. Just if I call, just text me, say I'm okay. But when you don't call, a lot of things go through my mind. I'm going crazy. Absolutely. They don't get it.
A panic attack.
Just one little text.
It's all good. It's all good.
That's all I have.
I just don't want her to jump to conclusions. One time we all went to the movies, turned our phone on silent. This lady called the police.
Oh no!
She won't go that far. And it's not the first time.
Okay, got it.
She has a panic attack.
Okay, got it.
But I bet you never did that again, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, there you go. All right. We have guests that just arrived at our table, and people are starting to eat and mingle, of course, Vanity did it for her mom. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Hello. I'm Vanity Dennis. This is my mom, Stacy.
I don't know where we can't see everybody, though. Can we switch over so we can see everybody? On the view. No, the Zoom. I'm talking about.
She wants to see the rest of the people.
Yeah, I want to see them so we can. Actually, they can wave at them. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. All right, so we can see everybody. So we got 2 new people at our table. And go ahead and say that again, Vanity.
Hi, I'm Vanity, and this is my mom, Stacy.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Stacy.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. So we were just talking. What brought you here to the brunch, the mother-daughter healing brunch? Welcome, Stacy, to my home. Thank you so much for joining. What brought you here?
Well, I thought of love. I thought of love and relationship. I thought of you know, I could take my mom out. We could bond this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's really that was my intention, my focus, and what
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, I have the opportunity to live with my mother for many years and to take care of her and things of that nature. But the purpose of, I think, let's talk about a little bit about why we came together in regards to, you know, investing in mother-daughter. I know we're also blending to a cause. I don't know where Chrissy is right now, but she's going to be coming up soon in regards to her organization. I did to talk about her organization because what her organization is very powerful in where mental health lies because your organization does make a difference here. So what I'm going to do is switch it around just a little bit until she arrives. And I want to talk about what a mother-daughter healing womb is, if we can. So in your own right, I want you to look at, and I just have a couple of notes here I didn't want to omit. Sometimes a mother-daughter relationship most times happens when the mother needs are unmet. So let's look at that. The mother's needs. So like my needs are unmet. And I may have been lacking fulfillment in my own life in something. And I may have not been able to have a sense of self. I may not have been able to have an opportunity to really find out who Cheryl really was. And then what happens is I put expectations on my children. And I put the yes, and like my daughter said, that's for sure. I put expectation on my children, on my daughters. And what happens is you start to learn how to orient yourself. And as you begin to see that my girls, what they started to do was distance themselves. So did anybody feel as though in their life in this moment before, and I'm going to go to Jeanetta because she has a younger daughter too, but she also has some issues with her mother. I know she's very candid about it, and as a first lady, Jeanetta, what would you have to say about that in regards to how our may have not been able to been fully actualized, and now we are mother?
Cheryl, this is such a powerful topic because I was raised by three amazing women. My biological mother, my great aunt who raised me from 6 months of age all the way into adulthood, and then my great grandmother. And in this conversation, due to past hurt that they weren't able to heal from, and skeletons and disappointments, I thought everyone had my best interest at hand. And I wasn't really able to begin to define what Jeanetta wanted. And everything was great for Jeanetta.
Wow.
And as a result, I found that it put tension on the relationship, especially when it came to my biological mother, the things that she wanted from me growing up. And as I became an adult with children, I began to shift the narrative and how the pain of the past, looking at the pain of the past of my mother's, and beginning to change the way I communicate with my daughter. You know, because I grew up in a yelling household, right? When you're trying to communicate, you yell, and I mean, you yell from like right here. You're like, it doesn't shield you. You know? And my great aunt who raised me, she was like, baby, you can't yell at these babies like that. And I said, well, you yelling at me? And then how they began to react at me. I have 5 children I raised, from 26 all the way to her, who is 10. And I noticed one of my sons did this, and I said, what's going on with that? And I realized that the yelling, he's not able, I noticed the impact of my yelling on my children. And I said, God, help me heal. And it was from that point I began to shift the way that I engage with my children, and also how I was raised. Things that I had the power to change, I began to adapt and change as I interacted with my children. Oh, Cheryl.
Wow. And you know that experience from the past has shifted you from who you are today. And anybody else want to share about that situation? You may not have been whole and the expectation you put on your daughters or your relationship. Anybody else want to share? Sure.
When you talk about putting unrealistic expectations on your children, for me, because I was a teen mom, I was dead set on not letting that generational thing continue.
Wow.
And I didn't realize the expectation I put on my children, my sister, like you're going to go to college, you're going to do this, you're not going to be a teen mom. Like I was determined when I went through, they would not go through it, and not realizing that I was not allowing them to create their own path, to make their own decisions. I had already mapped it out. You're going to go to college, you're going to do this. And those are things that I did not want to happen, they did not happen. But the expectations that I put on them, I'm realizing now that they're grown. I kind of hindered them more than helped them. And that's something that we have to still learning, to allow them to have their own expectations and set their own goals.
Yeah, that's so good, Evangelist Rennee, because we can lock them out. And I thank God for my mother, because what she did was I was known, I got popped in my mouth a lot, right? Because I wasn't able to express myself. And she's like, you got a big mouth, boom, 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 boom. But let me tell you, this is how Speak Your Power really came about, because she really allowed the educational piece. She was really into education, and she really put a space in a place where I think education was something that you really like beat inside of me.
Yes, because that's why I said I was determined that you was going to make something of yourself. Because I didn't take advantage of going to school like I should have. So that's why I'm not going to allow that to happen to my children.
Yeah, so she literally beat it. She really beat it, and like that was the thing. So if it wasn't yelling and screaming, and my mother's favorite word was stupid, and my stepfather, so I grew up with that, right? I grew up with that word stupid, and I had to transform that word. And we had a conversation to heal that many years later. That really, she wasn't adequate to do that because of her upbringing. So, and my mom is writing a book now and will be out this year. And about her pain. You want to tell me a little bit about why you decided to write that book about your own pain?
Yes, well, not only just emotional pain, but then I experienced some type of physical pain. Because most of my life I was kind of carefree. I did mostly what I wanted to do. I ate what I wanted to eat, and not really taking care of my physical body. And I got to a certain age and realized you can't eat any and everything you want. You just can't do that anymore. So it got to the point that something affected me that made me very ill. I was ill, and I was just believing God. I was like, God is going to heal me. It's in the Bible. God is going to heal me. But then I realized God can heal you, yes, but there's certain things you have to do too. I mean, if you're not eating right, how do you expect your body to respond to you not eating right? And I experienced this breakdown. My body just kind of shut down, and my doctor couldn't find absolutely nothing wrong with me. I went admitted to the hospital a couple of times. They ran about 1,000 tests. Everything came back negative. And I was like, well, there's something wrong. I'm still in pain. So I went to a nutritionist, and he said to me that my intestines were not communicating, because I was eating all this food, and it affected my whole body, and just everything was out of whack. So he put me on a lot of supplements and things, and the problem started I started to get better. But the thing was, I was just on this path of God will take care of everything. I mean, he's just going to do it. I mean, now, don't get me wrong. God answers prayer, does. But we have a part to play. We got to do our part. So I just wanted to share with the world. That's what I'm writing in the book. Okay, you got to do your part. God will take care of you. But yes, there's that pain that you got to take care of yourself. And that pain, how you take care of yourself? Do the right thing. Eat right, exercise, do those things. And all is intertwined. And I just want the world to know God is a healer, but also he teaches you how to heal yourself as well.
So what that experience, what I expressed to her is I think a lot of times her father and her mother, she had to suffer. She was suffering, and she, if I may say this part, she said, "You better not tell anybody." So myself, my girls, thank God, it was a year, right? It had to be because I came off my job and everything.
Yeah, so maybe a little over a year.
And she went down to 110 pounds.
Well, I lost over 100 pounds.
You were 110 pounds. I saw the bed. I saw the number when they weighed you. When they weighed you, I forget that number. It startled me because she was not able to stand on a scale.
That was the scariest thing.
So they had to weigh her on a bed, and the bed said 110 pounds. It scared me so bad, and I said, enough. I'm going to tell your family. And that released, that's what Speaking Your Power is about. Our family held so many secrets. And when she's writing this book, and that's why I think this whole conversation, and I wanted her to go deeper in her book because she was the baby, she's a twin, but she's the baby of her family and wasn't adequate enough she did what she needed to do. And she held a lot of stuff. And that portion of holding that stuff is an opportunity for you to begin to heal someone else's story. So by our truth or telling our own truth of that, because there's your truth and there's our truth and our healing process. So our relationship got healed or healing through that because of that. And I think that that's where our relationship has gotten a little better in regards to, I said, let's move the needle here and stop the secrecy in our family and heal so we can move forward in the future. So her book will be out, and she's going to talk about a little bit about her family and a little bit about her grandfather being controlling and stuff like that and moving the needle forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I want to piggyback off of what you were saying in terms of moving the needle. Coming from a Caribbean household, it's a lot harder said than done because Caribbean parents, I love my mom, they're just very stuck in their ways, their generational ways.
Yeah.
So where African Americans and Caribbeans, I feel like you're more able to speak to your mom because that language there isn't a huge language barrier or a culture barrier because you're born in America, everyone's born. Whereas in Caribbean parents, you're born outside of the country, and that raising in itself is completely different than when you come to America and you have your kid like, Mom, let's work this out. Dad, like, I really want to talk this out. To them, talking, that doesn't exist. Kids do not talk to adults. You don't enter your business into adult conversation.
That depends on what generation you're from.
Very true.
That's
very, very true.
So my generation in the 50s, we had that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The parents speak, the kids didn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
You responded.
Mm-hmm.
And you better respond quick to whatever
Exactly.
orders are given.
Exactly.
So I just want to correct that. Sometimes we separate and segregate ourselves.
But we're not.
But we definitely is one people.
Yeah.
One people that got different cultures and traditions and ideologies.
Absolutely.
But it's still cool. I just want to say
no. It's just more so in terms of the cultural language in terms. For instance, I can go now. Of course, I have to go to my mom because we have that communication. But in general, let's just say my mother didn't speak English, and I were to come to my mom and I'm like, Mom, let's have this conversation. I want to talk to you. Whereas someone who is from Haiti or Jamaica or whatever, yes, there is the adults and the kids don't converse, but there's still that thing where it's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You're just here, you're just complaining. But what it is that raising a kid in Haiti, Jamaica, or whatever is completely different versus raising a kid in America. Some of the things in general, for instance, when students come home with like paperwork or whatever, mom, you need to read this, you have to go over this. We're less likely to read it only because of that language barrier. The parent may not take it as serious as what it's supposed to be. So then when the time comes, it becomes a really big problem. So that's where it comes with the communication in terms of that. That's where the issue comes in. So then when it comes to healing those family issues, it's a lot harder versus that. It has nothing to do with segregating the Caribbean and the African Americans because I believe we're all one, and that's how my mother raised us. But that's just the cultural upbringing. That's what it is. It's just the communication process.
But when I was growing up, my parents, it's like if even it's not your parents or older sister, when they're talking, you're not allowed to look at them in the eyes. You put your head down. But when I moved here, I remember my mother was talking to me, and then I put my head down. My mother's like, look at me when I'm talking to you. I said, what do you want me to do? This is what you told me. You told me to put my head down.
Wow.
Yeah. Because where we're from, you're not allowed to. Oh, no, yeah, so.
It's a big transition.
Exactly. So I teach my kids different. I'm like, no, you look at me when I'm talking to you.
That's good. Anybody else?
Yeah, that's good. Piggyback on what she said.
Yeah.
Because like I read a lot, so like seeing different cultures like interact with each other, I see that like outside of the States, there is like a very submissive and like dominant type of dynamic between families outside of the States. I've noticed that like Asians, Caribbeans all share these types of ideologies, but like we see these differences in each other that I just don't understand, like on a different note. But there are a lot of similarities of like this submissive and then dominant figure in our family dynamics outside of the States. And when you come here, it's like everyone has to look at you or communicate with you. You feel heard, you feel like you're being listened to. But out there, like especially with my Caribbean grandmother, she was very much so like, you don't talk back to me. This is how it is, and if you don't agree, there's nothing else that you can say.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying this because I'm born in America. Now I'm gonna put that there. But we had that same thing. We had those same values. I call them values because that's really what they're practicing from generation that was passed down. I'm not trying to say we can't improve on some things, and some things we kind of probably figured out. We need to let that go. We can see the results of it, right? And we want to just, you say, heal, and come together, and that's necessary. And I know that I value young people's ideas and opinions and principles and values because now it's not just okay. I was raised where the elders respect your elders, still respect them, but they kind of set the rules, and they didn't hear and want to listen to younger people. You know, they're dictators.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you this is it, and you better do this. If you don't, you're gonna get some repercussion. You're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be nice. But now I'm gonna bring God in this because it takes all of us to make it, to survive what life is bringing toward us. I feel I don't want you to lose what you were saying.
No,
But you're so sensitive. I didn't know. I thought I was just coming for breakfast. I didn't know it was coming for all the time.
Since she got there.
Because I'm very emotional right now. I'm very emotional, very sensitive to life and love and passion and people, fulfilling destiny.
Yeah.
You know, and I love these people. I'm looking at them. They're so young. I love that she's speaking out. And I know that I was being silent looking at them. But I was listening and I value that. And I think that now that elders are learning that. Yeah. That we have to value the young people too. Because God is speaking directly to them too.
But I think it's also the technology that's making y'all talk about too. Because y'all be over there with the glasses over on the tip of the nose trying to figure out what it is. And then y'all gotta interact with us.
What you said to them? You did to them.
No. This one for sure. I think that we've definitely gotten closer as like.
But we need you, right?
Yes.
She showed me. She needed what?
How you put this down?
That's right.
Bro, click the paper.
You gotta say it 5 times.
No.
Well, she gets it. Good. 'Cause you gotta take it 5 times.
She get it at that moment.
On the way.
It's 50 left. 2 days later.
It's 11 times.
All right.
2 days later.
You know what?
So we slow you down in that way, right?
This
Because
is a
y'all so
great
quick and fast like
conversation.
this, and then we slow you
But it be so bad she confused me, and I know what I'm doing. Like how? I'm like, am I doing it right?
I don't know how old you are, but my son 32, and he sounds just like you.
I'm only 26.
You're 26. Oh, well, you still patient. You beautiful. The 26 years old is not going to go through it.
No,
I ask somebody else to help you.
No, because I just come with it. Like I've learned that nowadays you have to come with love and understanding. Like if you don't have the love and understanding, how can someone else give that back to you? Like if you cannot exhibit that, I really feel like the universe is very much real. Like you get whatever you put back out there. So whatever energy you have, make sure it's good, it's pure. It's not necessarily always going to be good, but at least make your intentions good.
Yeah.
Because that's all you can do. There's so many variables in life. You can't understand what's going to go down, but if you have your intentions in the right place, I feel like everything is going to fall into place.
Yeah.
But
And it means survival too
the
sometimes.
thing is, kids are different. If I go to Q, I say, Q, can you show me? She will take time. She'll say, Mom, I'm going to teach you. This is how you do it. But if I go to my to she goes, oh, give me the phone.
But see, that's why communication is so important. See, now you can make that distinction between the two. You know who to go to for what you need.
Yeah, that's
like,
annoying.
And then I went back to her and
It's going back to what you said. Yes, love and care. But after that first time, when you see who got it, the patience went out the window, and you could go to her.
Well, let's pause here for one moment. I know we want to make sure that our guest is also joining the conversation. Anybody else who want to say anything? Because our guest Chrissy Monroe has come on, so we just want to bring her up in a couple of minutes. But anybody else want to say anything before we go into bringing up Chrissy? Okay. Nobody? All right. So what we're gonna do, I want to just introduce right now. We're gonna introduce the person that I met at an event. Her name is Chrissy Monroe, and we got to talking, and she was there for something else, and then she decided she was talking about her organization, her foundation that she started. And I kept it in my back of my mind. I said, when I do something surrounding mental health, and when I do something surrounding anything comes to do with this topic, I'm gonna call Chrissy to be a part. So welcome, Chrissy Monroe. And how are you? Greet everybody.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I've had technical difficulties this morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm not too hip on this technology stuff.
You're doing fine. You're right on time. So you came right on time, and you get everybody a chance to eat and everything. So tell everybody who you are and what do you do and where they know you from, because my girls are whispering that I know her. So go ahead and say who you are and stuff like that.
Okay, well, most people know me from being on Love and Hip Hop New York season 5. Also the Dr. Phil show. A few other TV shows. I currently have a show out on Amazon Prime right now called Finding Chrissy, which is about my reality after reality TV and how my life has changed. But since leaving reality TV, mainly Love and Hip Hop New York, which is the biggest one on VH1, I got into an abusive relationship with a younger man, and I almost lost my life to domestic violence. And a lot of people don't know that. So, story in a nutshell, I pressed charges. The judge only gave him 3 months in jail. I was robbed. I have permanent hearing damage in my left ear. My left jaw is permanently dislocated. He broke my front tooth, which I've had fixed, amongst a lot of other things. I was so infuriated when they said 3 months. This man almost beat me to death and killed me. I had photos. I had all of the evidence. I said, wow, this is all they're doing? This can't be real. So I went to family court. I got an order of protection for when he did get out. I had an advocate from family services come with me to the police station. And it was a lot of what I know now to be victim blaming and shaming. Well, why did you wait so long? Why didn't you come sooner? And even the female district attorney in the Westchester County courthouse said the same thing. Well, I'm thinking a lot of people don't even make it to press charges. Some people lose their lives. It took me a few months to get the courage up after almost losing everything I had. I mean, my home, my possessions, my mental health was all the way upside down. I started going to free counseling at my sister's place, which is an organization here in Yonkers. It took me a lot to even get the courage up to go into a police station. It's intimidating. And it's embarrassing talking about the vivid details of what happened. And then them looking at you like it's your fault. Wow. So I was even more messed up. Going through all of that and only getting the 3 months prompted me to say, you know what? As embarrassed as I am, as ashamed as I am, which I'm not now, but at the time I was. It was a myriad of emotions. I need to speak up about this, about my experience and what happened to me. I have a big platform, being on Ratchet TV. Yes, it was a Ratchet show, but guess what? It's also a worldwide big show that a lot of people, are into it. It gave me an audience. It gave me a voice to become a voice for the voiceless.
Yeah.
Because most people do not have anyone to talk to. They've been isolated from their friends and family. That's the first thing most abusers do. They cut you off from any positive people in your life. So they want to control you. So I said, I got to do something. I didn't care at that point about what people would want to think. So I started my foundation, Survive the Thrive Global, in 2016. And I really honestly didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew I had the desire to help others not to go through what I went through. And I've really been learning, and I still am learning along the way. So far, so good. And I declared it Survive the Thrive Global because this is a global pandemic. People are dying every day from domestic violence. And especially the U.S., we don't have a lot of services. But imagine in Asia, there's so many, in West Indian countries, in the Middle East especially, women really get it bad. There's really a lack of resources. So, just having something as powerful as social media for people to come on from anywhere in the world and find others who have been through similar situations and connect and network and to learn, hey, wait a minute, I went through this too, she went through that too. I'm not the crazy one. I'm not the person that they said I was. Has been empowering in itself. There's a lot of work to do as far as the laws here in the United States changing. Domestic violence isn't even a felony because it was always considered a matter between husband and wife. And that's antiquated back to the 1950s. No, we're not back then. We're in 2022. These things need to be updated. These abusers are getting out in sometimes hours to get right out to reoffend and sometimes even kill. So I've learned so much. I didn't know I was being emotionally abused. It wasn't a progression. It was a progression of emotional abuse to the verbal, and then it got physical. But I just thought, I didn't know what emotional abuse was. I thought I was being ignored. But now that I know these things and can share these things and educate people, they're in that phase that maybe they can see those red flags and get out before it even gets to physical, where they may even be in the situation to get punched or beat up. Then that's a narcissist was. I didn't know a lot of the things I know now. And, you know, I came up, since this is a mother and daughter's thing, today's event, with no mother. My mother left when I was 12 and told me, you're old enough to raise yourself. And she got on drugs, long story. So, you know, I really was looking to men at a young age for acceptance, for comfort, for the love that my mother never gave me. And it 90% of the time turned out bad because my choice in men wasn't so good because I was just pretty much accepting anything because I was used to being abused as a child, neglected, abandoned. And hey, this guy's doing good enough, or, you know, he went through it too. Let me fix him. Let me help him. There's a myriad of reasons why women stay in these situations. And, you know, the victim blaming is, why didn't you just leave, girl? I would have hit him over the head with a frying pan. Easy to say when you're not in the situation. It sounds so easy, but what if you were with your abuser since you were in high school? You got 3 kids. You've never had a job. You don't even have a bank account. You have no job skills. Where are you and your 3 kids going? These shelters, especially here in New York City, are filthy, dirty. The workers treat you worse than sometimes your abuser. A lot of them are just sitting around collecting a check. So a lot of women end up, men too, homeless or going back to their abuser because of the lack of resources. So I do work here in Westchester with some of the local politicians and lawmakers to try to put in place some laws, but it's on such a larger scale. This has to be nationwide. I work with a lot of other organizations where we want to make a bigger impact because that's the bottom line is getting these resources in place where there's real genuine caring help for people coming out of domestic violence situations. It's not easy to leave. On the average, it takes a woman 7 times, or man. I always got to throw that in there because but I speak for women because I'm a woman. 7 times on the average to leave because, you know, you always are going to hope that they're going to become that person you fell in love with, that good person that was so great in the beginning. That was all a facade. And 99% of the times, they're never going to go back to them because they really never were that. They were wolf in sheep's clothing. But, you know, we don't want to go back out there and be single again. We don't want to be lonely. What are the kids going to think? You know, there's so many factors. So sharing all of these things, like I'm sharing with you guys today, have been so impactful on the women worldwide that reach out to me and say, you know what, you inspire me to lead. I gone into the courthouse and come out with order of protection and said, hey guys, I got granted my order of protection. It wasn't as bad as you brought it up in your mind to think it is because a lot of it is fear. Oh my gosh, it's so intimidating going that court. It was embarrassing for me to stand in front of a judge and tell him what this man did to me. But I said, you know what, there's people out here who need to hear this and see this. They need to know that, you know what, it's okay. I walked out of there, I got what I wanted. Thank God this man hasn't bothered me. This particular gentleman has gone on to abuse several other women. That's just who he is. But thank God, you know, but the people that him need to be put behind bars for life.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of work to be done, but somebody's got to do it, and I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Not that it happened to me. Unfortunately, that had to happen for me to get to this place, but so much good has come out of it. You know, if it's not me, who's it going to be? Who's going to speak up?
Yeah.
Chrissy, thank you for having me today. You know, I've been going for hours.
Yeah. You know, we all, what you said?
I want one of those shrimp on the table.
You know, we laugh, we chuckled in here because we have some men in the room that's doing. We love the crew over here, and they hearing you talk, and one of the gentlemen said, you know, that hit home. That hit home because what you're saying is we're having a valid conversation, and I want to bring up my pastor, Debra Jordan. She came on today, and we are going to, as we also Some proceeds are going to your organization today. So we're asking everyone to go ahead to the GoFundMe. Pastor Deb, what do you want to say about this organization that Christy Monroe has and what she's doing, an initiative around mental health?
You know, I'm so honored to be here again on today, and thank God that you have the guts and the mind to go. So you know something, this is wrong. How many women voices go silent that you never hear? You had the strength and the know-how to go and do it, even though you didn't get exactly what you should have got. Should have been behind the jail, you know. But you're making a stand, and the impact is so powerful. And it only takes one individual just to make that stand, so that other women will stand up. So you know something, if she did it, then I can do it too. I'm not alone, as you talked earlier about other women in different countries that are still dealing with this, and it's still happening today. You know, that we as women, as well as men, many of them deal with as well. So I'm just so honored, and I just want to acknowledge you and say thank you for having the guts and the stamina to stand. Keep on doing what you're doing, because there's voices out there that are silent that need to speak up and say this has to change. If not me, then when? If not you, then who? So this is very powerful, and I told Dr. Cheryl what we want to do as a church. We want to give your organization $1,000 today. So we just so honored that you are
Really appreciate it, because that helps me. You know, we're starting up our groups in the city again where people can come in. You know, because they have Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. They have places for everyone else, but where do victims, families, and survivors of domestic violence have? Nowhere. It's normally a one-on-one counseling session, you know, and then that's it, maybe once a week. But when you're around other victims and survivors who are not judging you, who have been through the same thing, man, you can feel the energy. It's just such a release.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing to, like Pastor Debra said, to have the guts to do that. So we're going to put the link, the GoFundMe link inside of there. We're going to keep it open for the month of May. We'll see what happens in regards to what that looks like. Some of the proceeds are going to her program, and we're definitely going to make sure that you go, and we'll see how you can begin to move the needle. We're going to be in touch. I had an interview with her a couple of days ago, and I really am an advocate for mental health awareness. Like Christy said, it doesn't start with a punch. It doesn't start with a hit. It starts with your self-value of who you believe you are. So who you believe you are in a space, in a place where you can begin to move the needle for yourself. That's what Speak Your Power is all about. This is what we can begin to meld in the principles that we believe, spiritual principles, and the resources with spiritual principles like Chrissy's organization. Like my mother said earlier, yes, I'm a praying woman. I believe in God. But I also believe that there's doctors out there. There's resources out there I'm supposed to connect with, so we can have the wisdom, so we can begin to get the healing we need. Let's stop being on the sidelines when there's organizations and there's things out there that you can get your healing. But one thing I want to say is that when someone is in an abusive relationship, or someone is dealing with mental health, any mental health challenges, it's up to that person to begin to take the first step. Do not force them into taking the steps. Do not drag them. Just give the resources. And that's what we're doing today. We're giving you the resources. If you're in an abusive relationship, reach out to Survive to Thrive Global. Chrissy organization is helping people. Hers happen to be women, but like she said, there are men out there that are struggling. They just do not report. they don't report. So as her organization helps women and children in crises. Even before you get to crises, if you think something wrong, it probably is. So you want to make sure that you get the know-how to begin to move safely out. That's the key, to move safely out. And I think that's what Chrissy was alluding to. She learned how to move safely out. All right, so let's go ahead. Chrissy, tell them how to join forces. And this is an opportunity for them to go ahead and be with you.
Okay, my website is www.survivetothriveglobal.org. My Instagram is Survive to Thrive Global, same with Facebook. And also, yes, it's very important if you know someone or yourself going through domestic violence. Number one is safety first. A lot of people have been hurt trying to help a friend or family member, sometimes killed, getting in the middle of someone else's situation. That person, just like a drug addict, they have got to be ready to leave. You cannot make them, you cannot talk them into it. They will hide. All you have to do is let them know, I'm here when you are ready. I love you. And that's www.survivetothriveglobal.org. Facebook and Instagram at Survive to Thrive Global. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you, Chrissy. All right, so what we're going to do is thank you, Chrissy, for coming up. We're going to put the link inside of the chat. It's there. And we want to what did you guys think of that interview with Chrissy and her being so candid with her experience, or anything we want to say about that, and maybe it triggers something for you out there. So we want to make sure that we handle that just in case it did trigger something for you. Does anybody want to say anything to this or want to add to the space?
Practice services practice Debra again. This was so powerful because I hadn't thought about this in years. One of my sisters was dealing with abuse, and it was from my husband. And I'm sharing my little personal story. I'm gonna be real quick. She left home and no one knew where she was, but she was leaving for her own sanity and for her own safety. And I'm her older sister, and I'm calling her. We don't know where she's at. Eventually, I found out where she was, and I called her, and I said, "Why didn't you tell me?" She said, "You're my sister." She said, "I didn't want to hear anything about God." She said, "I wanted to hear your voice as my sister." And she said, "This is why I did not reach out."
Wow.
So I say this is sometimes we as Christians, we become so religious until we become no really good. She needed a touch, a woman-to-woman touch to let her know that I was going to be there for her, not Jesus is going to pay it off. Let's just pray and everything. She didn't need any of that from me. She said, "I know God for myself." She said, "But I needed you. I needed a person."
Wow.
So sometimes when we go into these type of situations, those of you that are in leadership or especially in the church, we got to be mindful as to how we handle these individuals and stuff, because they're hurting. It's not that they don't know God, but how to go and do. And what I did when I went to that hotel for, I sat on the floor with her, and she said, and it was like a space of quietness. And I said, who do you need me to be right here? Because I left Pastor Debra, I left Prophet Debra at the door, and I came in as Debra, as a woman, and as a sister.
That's so
not
powerful.
trying to tell her what to do and what not to do. I'm here for you.
Wow.
Hallelujah.
Just wanted to let us as women in the Christian community, sometimes we have a way, we may need good, but sometimes that good does not come across as good. And I always say, your good does not always mean that it's God, but God is good. So that's the thing. So I just thank you again, Chrissy, for that. This is powerful.
Pastor, you brought up a very good point. Sometimes our Christianese or our religiosity gets in the way of humanity. So we just got to know, this is my sister. This is, and no matter, she's from LMQ and her family, I said, this is my sister. regardless of the fact if you're hurting, I'm hurting. What can I do? Or well, I just need you to listen. I just need you to just hear me. Just hear them. And that's what I heard you say, Pastor. She just needed her sister. She didn't want a pastor. She didn't want a counseling session. She just needed her sister. And I see all the time when we are not there for, I don't have a physical sister, but I have a sister. My friend was double as pastor's sister, and her daughter. They were both my good friends. And I have to say, when we may not talk, but when I need them, they're my sisters. And this is what I think Chrissy's organization is about, is a sisterhood. To say, I look like you, but I may have a different hue. My hair may be different, but I'm with you because I'm part of the same human race. That if you take off all of our skin color and all of this thing that we got going on, we're human. We hurt, we feel the same, we may not feel the same way. Like Evangelist Hubb was even sharing about her experience. Evangelist Rennee, would you like to share anything right there? Because I know you were talking and alluded to that earlier.
Sure, I definitely can relate to Chrissy when you're sharing about being in an abusive relationship. I was young and I was in an abusive relationship as well, and I couldn't verbalize to my family that I am in this type of relationship where we were both verbally abusive and then physically abusive. So that's the biggest thing, feeling comfortable and being open to speaking about what's going on with you. But also, once I came out physically, it took me years mentally to get out of it, to understand, like, this is not a relationship, to understand you're better than this, understand that, my name is Rennee, it's not who this person called me. And that's the biggest thing that we have to deal with people about. Physically, you can be out, but mentally, it takes years to get out of that mindset. When someone's talking to you, not ready to physically fight, to not physically, be ready to attack someone because they're standing up, or, it just takes a long time mentally to get out of that. And that's something that we don't deal with people. We don't talk to them about it because we figure, okay, you're away from that person, you're good. No, you're not good. Mentally, you have to get yourself healthy. You have to understand it's okay to be by yourself too until you're healthy. And until you understand what a relationship is.
Yeah, that's good. Let's give that a hand. Anybody else would like to share anything? Let's open it up right now. Sure.
So
give your name because they may not know you that came on later.
Hi, I'm Andrea. First of all, Chrissy, I commend you for just being here today, for being strong, for standing strong, for standing in your truth, and for, just being here to tell your story and to help everyone around the table, even if it may not be us, but it could be a friend.
Yeah.
So for me, I had a friend who was in an abusive relationship. And at the time, I didn't understand why she was so distant. So for me, I was just like, okay, cool. When I need my space, I need people to give me my space. So I was like, okay, let me give her space. Not thinking that she's in an abusive relationship and she's just distancing herself because she doesn't know who to talk to. I have a group of 8 wonderful girls, and I keep trying to get rid of them. I don't know why so many girls keep adding themselves to the group, but we have a lot of opinions, a lot of people telling some of our friends. They were not in a way bashing her, but why would you be with this guy? What you need to do this, you need to do that. Not letting her speak and feel and understand what she's going through. So for me and her had that. We always had that connection where we could talk and be expressive and stuff. I don't know. She distanced herself from me, so I didn't understand what was going on with her. I just thought she just needed space. finally, when she's now out of the relationship, but she came to me and she was just like, I had no one to talk to. I tried to talk to the girls at that time, and it was just them bashing the relationship, bashing him, bashing me for staying there, and they weren't listening. And I just felt like, who should I talk to? She tried to go talk to her parents. Her parents were like, well, we didn't like him anyways. I don't know why you're with him, why you keep staying with him. That's on you. Like, and I felt horrible because I'm like, I wish I was that friend to just say, okay, what can I do for you? How can I be there for you? What do you need right now? Can I just sit here and we just let you talk about it? So to hear you guys say that, I'm like, at the time I didn't know what to do because I never been around someone who was in an abusive relationship. I didn't know how to provide for her. Sorry, I'm getting like, I felt so bad. I was just like, I wanted to be there for my friend, and I couldn't. I didn't know how to be there for her. So yeah. So thank you for sharing that, so that God forbid something else happens, I just know to just be that friend who just says, okay, what do you need? What do you need from me? Do you need me to just sit here and listen? I'll do that with you. I I appreciate these chats because as women, especially Black women, we don't know how to communicate these things. And we're just like, girl, you crazy. You just need to do this. You just need to do that. And we like bypass it. But what we really want to say is like, I'm here for you. How can I do this for you? So thank you, ladies.
Oh, that's good. I think I'm going to try to dig it out, but it's still sensitive. It's like 20 years ago. And my coworker was experiencing abuse, physical abuse with her husband. And her sister was a police officer and knew about it because she had to call the police because she was beat very, she had to go to the hospital every time it happened pretty much. So they had a lot of, documents on it. Those two sisters were police officers and they were female officers, but they didn't even know how to really, it's hard to approach, but I'm just going to say this, that when she shared with us what happened, because she was missing days out from work, when she finally shared it, she said, it was because of her husband, and now she felt she had to do something, make moves, because he was not only abusing her physically, but it was going on to her daughter. And she had a 3-year-old and she had a toddler. And I remember saying to Rennee, I feel like we always have to listen.
Yeah.
Listen first. And when you can't connect because you haven't experienced it, be silent. And that's when hugs come in, or just being available, And so that's the way I was with Rennee, till she would say, "Oh, Stacy," and it drew her to me in that sense that she had somebody that was willing to listen and not judge her and condemn her, And the families were saying, they believed in the values of marriage, so let's stay out of it. And love your man.
That's exactly what Pastor Debra was talking about.
So what happened was, I said to Rennee, you trust me, right? Yeah. Because I will listen to you, right? Yeah. Be willing to hear me then. Okay. You gotta get out of there. What, Steve? I said, you gotta get out of there. I said, it's for all of you. He doesn't have control of what he's doing and cause it love. And then you hurt, and then now it's your kid, and you trying to keep your daughter from going to school and say something, keeping her out of school because she got some hits, So, you got to do it. You're the strongest one. You go to work every day. You functioning. You functionable in the dysfunction. But you got to save your kids. I believe this. I believe that. So, okay. Now, whatever you need, I want to help you. Because you live when they have a house, a condo together, but she don't have nothing outside of that. The family telling her to stay with them. Just like we say, the programs and stuff like that. There was stuff. Connecticut is pretty good with this. But she didn't want to go because she had to protect him. You're not thinking to protect herself. And that's what happens a lot of times. Well, I'm going to say that. The women that I knew. So finally, he really hurt her daughter. He did something. I can't recall what it was, but he really hurt her little girl. We came to work. And I said, okay. I said to Rennee, well, what you going to do? She said, Stacey, I can't go back there because the baby, and he was saying, and he would tell her that the baby was next because since when he beat her and she could take it to beats. So now he knew the next thing to hurt was the little girl. So he got the 3-year-old. Now he's saying, this baby gonna be next. So anyway, we got her out of there. I'm trying not to make this a long story, but it's so sensitive and it got me shaking on the inside. And I mean, 20 years ago, I'm still shaking on the inside because this is a true story. I'm telling you. And so what happened was she wouldn't go back. She took the baby. I said, take the baby. The baby went to the daycare and the other one went to school. I said, no, that's it. Whatever if you don't have a bag to pack, don't worry about it. You out of there. You're not going back there. So I got her to an auntie house. She went to an auntie house that knew about that, was telling her. Only one in the family said, get out of that situation, get out of that situation. So she left, and he was threatening the family that made her want to go back, but everybody was saying, no, we locking in like this. We did. We locked in like this, whatever it was. If they needed food, if they needed clothes, whatever it was, we locked in. And they would say, now, you know what? You also let the police know so that he can't come over to the aunt's house, so don't worry about his threats. But the threats are scary. Because they made them threats. I'm just saying, they made no stress, but she didn't want to aunt to get hurt and said, but aunt and uncle and all of us, I said, no, God is going to do it. Now that's where I brought God at. He's going to protect us. But like you said, Mom, we got to do our part. So what happened was she stayed. She left the job because he knew where she worked, couldn't mess with her that way. And then, help was coming in different ways. And it was all had to be under, quietly done. He finally left and gave up on harassing her. Got with another girl that had 2 kids. My hand to Jesus right now. They lived in Milford. When she found that out, she called the girl and said, hey, watch him. She wasn't trying to say, she didn't give no real long story and list, but just say he's dangerous and he did certain things to me and my kids. And watch your kids with him because she had the kids babies. He had them babies with the kids. He killed the kids.
Oh my God.
She wouldn't listen, oh, you jealous, you hating. You understand what I'm saying? Black girls talk. When people of color, you understand what I'm saying? He killed the 2 kids, and then when she got home, saw the 2 kids was dead, hysterical, killed her.
Wow.
And she came to me, she cried and she bawled, and she said, you know something? That could have been us. And not only could have been, it probably would have been had she not made that move. So, and now the police officer sisters, now they know. Now, and after that, he got locked up. I don't know no more after that because that was the end for me. That, like even right now, my heart and my chest is like this right now.
Yes, I want to just take care of everyone because I didn't know that was coming.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was coming. But I just want to take care of everyone right now. Jeanetta, how are you and your daughter doing right now? Because I know this is very sensitive right now. How are you right now? Just want to make sure everybody's good.
We are doing well. This is such a powerful conversation
Okay.
that we have entered, and thank you so much, Percy, for sharing your story. This is very powerful. Coach, if I may share, it reminded me of just being able to pour into our daughters and our sons and let them know that they are valuable.
Yeah.
Let them know that they're not confined to being with someone, and that if they're with someone, despite how much they love them, despite how much they pour into them, despite how big their name is around town, if they are being mistreated, they are more valuable than that. And it's so important. It just reminds me of just, how I'm going to do my daughter as she grows up and begins to date. Because I know in my early years of dating, dating the someone that your mother does not approve of. Every mother has, someone she wants her daughter to be with, someone very successful in everything. But in my early stages, my mother's like, that's not the one, because she saw the control aspect there and how that individual was trying to control me. And it makes me very grateful of being in this conversation, because we as mothers need to be really not being forceful in the conversation with our children, but reminding them that they are valuable, that there is someone out there for them, and that they don't have to settle.
Coach Cheryl.
Yeah, I think that that's important. And I just want to make sure, and thank you for that. You brought up a great point. But this may be about healing mothers and daughters. But as Chrissy talks about, if you're parents of young men, when you're raising a young man and how you treat their mother and how they see themselves and their own self. And that's what we talked about. What was lacking inside of my mother or myself or your father or whatever, that we pass it on to the people that we mostly love and it's close to us. And when we look at this, we harm each other. We harm each other, firstly, by what we say. Those scars are the scars that are the most dangerous because those leave scar tissue. I never forget when someone had a C-section and they were talking about, my doctor said it's too much scar tissue. It's dangerous. Scar tissue is the most dangerous thing because you can't see it. It's only when you open it up. So the scar tissue, that emotional damage that is given when you speak harshly, you attempt to control, you attempt to not have a sense of self. So these people have inadequacy in themselves and they're not able to have self-control. And I was glad that Miss Stacy was able to be in a space and a place where she's able to get that person to safety. And this is what Survive to Thrive does. They get them to safety. They give them an avenue to begin to open that up. But I want to say also to you that you're valuable. Men, women, children, you're valuable. You don't know there's something, when you're triggered in a moment, you may not know what that trigger is. This is where we can begin to have these conversations. And I think we're going to have more of these conversations to open up what has landed. Thank you so much for sharing, Chrissy. And we're going to give you another hand clap for being here on today. Thank you. Oh, for sure.
Okay, so I wasn't expecting everyone to be so open about their particular experiences, and I would love to talk to you later about possibly continuing this conversation, because, even if you personally haven't had it happen to you, obviously we all know someone that it has happened to, and I see everyone kind of, getting a little choked up when they talk about it. This is something that needs to be discussed even more so we can help in the future if we do encounter someone going through it. So I would love to be a part of, a group or an event. If you guys want to have it in person, I will come out. And even with teenagers, I've spoken at middle schools, and I'll tell you, these girls need it the most. When I talked about my relationship and the abuse with my mother and things, they were so receptive to that. And they asked me, have you forgiven your mother? Have you, that's what they wanted to know. They didn't want to hear about the TV crap. These girls, were going home and dealing with neglect, abuse, seeing their mothers being abused at home. And, I just felt like taking everybody home with me. I couldn't do that. But there needs to be more of this discussion with younger girls to prevent them getting into those situations, and young men, because a lot of young men also have witnessed it, and that's all they know is to control a woman and put her in check, because that's all they've seen with their father doing to women. So it needs to change. But I definitely would love to be more involved with you guys, and whatever I can do to help, I'm here. So I just wanted to add.
Yeah, for sure, Chrissy. For sure. We know we talked about it, but now I think that now these conversations, like you said, came more out to the forefront. It's more needful than ever. We opened up a conversation. Definitely, if you're experiencing any type of abuse or anything like that, call 911 if you can, or get in contact, or tell a friend. tell a friend, tell someone that you trust.
The domestic violence hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE. It's free, confidential, 24-hour counseling. 1-800-799-SAFE is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Which, so they, you call if you're. I can't go to California and pick you up. I can send you an Uber if you say you have a cousin's house you could go to, which I do. I send groceries, things like that.
That's right.
I've sent plane tickets. But the domestic violence hotline could say, hey, are you near? What's zip code? There's a safe house here. You get out now. So it is effective. There are some good resources such as the hotline. Also, another thing to consider: the amount of mostly women sitting in prison unjustly for defending their lives and their children's lives against their abuser. They're not hardened criminals. They're not murderers, but it was either basically my life or yours, and they had to choose to defend themselves. Some of these women are doing life in prison for killing their abuser.
That's right.
These women also need help, and to know that there's people on the outside pulling for them as well. So that's another one of the things that I'm trying to get more involved in with the lawmakers and things like that. So it's just so many dynamics. But like I said, I'm not going to talk your ear off, but I wanted to just extend my help. And, anything you guys got going on, I'm there. So.
All right. So let's go ahead and I didn't see it, but let's go ahead and close this segment of this. Thank you so much, Chrissy, for just making an opportunity for us to begin to move that needle. And I want to just close with some things that we can possibly do as a portion of how we can begin to stay present in all relationships. Because this is why I created Speak Your Power Now, and because I felt like my voice was being taken. And then I created really horrible habits of attempting to control others when I could not control the situation. So you got to recognize that about yourself. So what you're recognizing, I created something called the PIES method. It's PIES. And because we all have an ARR, Q loves this. We have an automatic response, an automatic reactive response. And this automatic reactive response happens when we're triggered. So whatever anytime you do not have control over your communication or your voice, you tend to respond negatively. You tend to respond emotionally. So where I teach people how to stay present in the moment, when things are happening to you, you begin to shift in a moment. I'm gonna have my daughter go and print so a letter that I'm gonna have you write in a couple of minutes to you, and you should have gotten a PDF of that. And we're gonna do that in a couple of minutes, where you're going to begin to stay present with your thoughts. And I want you to really recognize when you are triggered. Now, you may not recognize it immediately, but your immediate response when you're triggered about something that is a negative response to something, it's usually negative. It's usually something that comes at you and you make it all about you. So usually when something happens, like what you could say, like if it was a car accident, I would say a car accident, and that car looked like something that hit you, you make it about you. However, you got to be able to be in the moment to be able to respond and not react, because that's between life and death. Like Chrissy was talking about, like I was talking about, how do you respond opposed to reacting? Where you get control over your own voice and give your own voice power. How do you begin to move the needle for when you begin to look and see how you're responding? You heard my mother talked about how she was responding to her body. Her body wasn't functioning. She had to respond in a way that she could begin to go to the right doctors. Somebody is hurting you. You have to learn how to respond in a way that you're not reacting, that you could put yourself in danger. So being able to be in self-control, that is what mental health is about. Mental health is about you getting in control over the self, not someone else. You can't control anybody else. Let me just say that again. You cannot control anybody else's response. You only can control yours. So when you have this mask up that what you do doesn't work for you anymore, if you find yourself always attempting to control someone else's narrative, if you tend to go off and always fighting, always arguing, always upset, always mad, you don't have to live like that. You can live in a space of love. You can live in a space of joy. Do you even know what makes you happy? So healing this relationship means that I'm going to embrace Jayla who she is. I'm going to embrace Jeanetta who she is. I'm going to embrace Jordan for who she is. I'm going to embrace JL for who she is. And my mother for who she is. And for Cheryl for who she is and who she is not. So when you try to push around shape into a square, you're going to bruise it. You're going to bruise it. So what I am suggesting today, I'm not telling you anything. I'm suggesting that there's a lot of nuggets that we had here today. And I want you to begin to create a new future. And this new future looks like I'm going to speak from a powerful place. And my voice matters. And in a minute, I'm going to have Jeanetta get the acronym for the voice. And I'm going to get, and she need a moment to probably pull that up in a moment. And in that moment, we talk about our voice. Because those are the things that somebody attempted to snatch from you. Mercie, somebody tried to snatch it from you. And look at these beautiful girls that you have here today.
Beautiful.
You're talking your own
Stop
truth.
worrying.
You're talking your own truth.
You did a good job.
Right? And this is where you begin to move that.
Ready.
This is where you begin to move that needle. This is opportunity. Even with Stacy with Vanity. This is how she is beginning to move the needle. I look at my friend, Pastor Debra, and Minister Naomi. Minister Naomi doesn't really say much, but she is a strong woman running a global organization that she's helping bridging a gap of virtually for our people.
Thank you.
Look at Evangelist Rennee. She's taken her story and now healing other people's story. Because this is what you got to figure out what your purpose is. This is why I created this. I'm not letting my light dim because I'm highlighting Chrissy. My light does not dim because I'm highlighting Pastor Debra. My light does not dim because I'm highlighting Evangelist Rennee. We all have a light within us. Amen. And it's time for us to begin to have it to shine. That's right. So right now I want to open up the Q&As inside of the chat. I know you've been watching on YouTube, Instagram. Share this content out. Share also the GoFundMe. And I want to get some questions about what that looks like. Jeanetta, are you ready with the voice? What that means?
Yes, Coach Cheryl, I'm ready.
Go ahead. Tell them what voice means.
Voice, the V standing for know your value system. O for opportunity. An opportunity is an essential key to living a fulfilled life and requires us to develop our communication skills. And that's developed through principles of Speak Your Power Now around developing effective communication skills. The I, being intentional, and that's done by developing proper planning, which prevents poor performance and poor results. The C, it stands for community. And here at Speak Your Power Now, Coach Cheryl believes in moving as a cohort, leaving no one behind, helping them to get unstuck, helping them to get unstuck and make bold moves. The E, it stands for excellence, as we provide the community with excellence. As a result, it begins to foster long-lasting relationships and testimonials for success. Coach Cheryl.
Yeah, I wanted to talk the acronyms. The word V. What was the V? Say just said the word.
Okay. The B stands for value.
Values. C. I mean O. Opportunities. I. Intentional. C. Community. E. And excellence. I want you to look at that. I want you to look at that. Because when you look at what that looks like for you, look at each. When you think of your voice, I want you to think what's your value system. And this is, and I teach the value system. I teach it very differently. But I want you to know your value system. And the O, every obstacle you can turn into an opportunity. If you do not look and see the opportunity that's happening right in front of you, this is an opportunity. You heard what Chrissy just said. Chrissy said, oh my God, I did not know this was going to happen today. But I want to create an opportunity with you so we can help more people. I want you to recognize whatever the opportunity, the obstacles that you feel in front of you, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to be great. So today, I just want to give some closing remarks around the table and for people. What did you take away from today? And also, do we have the letter inside of the chat room yet? Okay, so we'll get that. So we'll go around and I'm going to tell you what the letter is about. And I'm going to have you go and print it. Okay, you want to start with your mom?
This was so powerful today and so enlightening, and I'm so happy that I was a part of this whole thing here. I'm so proud of my daughter here. Let's just give her a round of applause. We came a long way, as she gave you a little tidbit. We came a long way. I was a single mom, and we came a long way, and we had our ups and downs, but to God be the glory. We're here today. Thank God for the journey, and thank God for this present time here. So that's my takeaway.
Wow. Anybody else like to share their takeaways from our panel, maybe from the audience? Do we have any questions? I can't see what's happening inside of there, but let me know what is any questions. Please let me know the questions you have. Let's answer it now for anybody that has one. Anybody on the table like to say, or our panel?
Yes.
Vanity, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, there were so many great things. Like even Chrissy, thank you so much for sharing your story and pushing through, even when people judged you. Thank you so much because you just stayed true to your mission and you got out of it. And they teach us that even in school, the first thing you do is listen. You don't try to impose your own thoughts on others and different things. So I commend you. I thank you so much for what you're doing, Coach Cheryl and everyone who shared. Even as you said that survive to thrive is for people who experience domestic violence, but you even said some other things for people who are in what they think are normal relationships, because you said the abuse started with emotional, verbal, thank you, and into physical. Right. So you don't even know that you are being abused. And I think a lot of people could even use that education, like you said, just to open the door, because you might not know. And even as Evangelist has said, she didn't even know she was being abused. And, I might not even know it. And then you guys said a lot how it reflects to inner things, how you were brought up, your emotions, how you see yourself, what happened that is the way you see yourself. And then you can work through that. So I took a lot away from that, and I want to thank you. And I think this is a great start. There's going to be a lot of different things happening and changing for the good. Even from that, because this has opened up a lot for me. and clarity. So thank you so much, everyone. This was beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's hear from Princess Esther. She's trying to talk. I saw your hand.
Coach Julien, my takeaway from this healing Zoom is that you have to let go of the past in order to heal, to have a better relationship with your family.
Oh, I told Coach Jeanetta, I said, she has extraordinary children. And I said, people want to know, how on earth do you have a young lady as extraordinary as that? And she's created a mentorship program for young people because her children are extraordinary.
Wow.
It's because of her own life. She decided that she was going to raise extraordinary children, because sometimes in your life, you have to transform what is in your present day. So I'm looking at Princess Esther. You are amazing. You are going to have a bright future. And I just hope that you remember us little people when you get up there in the big leagues, because we love you. All right, let's get right now. All right, anyone else that would like to share their takeaway?
Oh, I did want to share a takeaway. So I'm very thankful for the invitation to this event. I was very happy to be able to invite my mother and my sister, because I too wanted them to get some insight about just healing in general. I've had the opportunity, thanks to Cheryl, to start that process and be part of the Unstuck program, and now I'm in the Bold program, and then hopefully get to the Divine Assignment. But I wanted to introduce this not only to my mom and my sister, but also to my followers and stuff, because I just feel that with my generation as millennials, we know the issues because we're on the cusp of before technology and after technology. However, we're still dealing with the issues of communication, learning how to communicate properly, learning how to say the right things. And one of the issues I know for myself that I have is like, it's not about what I say, because although I know that some of the things I say are correct, but it's how I say it. And my mom can vouch for that. My sister can vouch for that. It's the way I say it. And it's not that I don't know. It's not that I don't want to say it. It's just I don't know how to say it. So I just feel like if we keep having these conversations and keep having these communications, this allows us to teach. Like, for instance, when I brought up the Caribbean and the African Americans, this lets me know, like, okay, there is a better way to say it. I am saying something that I feel, but maybe it's my delivery. And I just feel same thing with the abuse, with the emotional. You don't realize you're in it until someone tells you. So it's all about it. The communication. I know we hear it ever since we're like a child, but it's a lot harder said than done. So having these conversations, teaching us how to communicate amongst Black women, I think that is a big factor in this life. Especially, it's hard for us Black women to come on the same page. The world makes it hard for us to come on the same page.
I would like to say thank you for inviting me.
You're always welcome.
The first day I saw your picture, and she was like, "Oh my God, they inspired me. I want to meet them." So when Q told me that I got invited, I'm like, I was excited. I worked last night. Last night.
You couldn't
got home
all
this morning.
because of her.
Yeah. I worked 16 hours. I just got home this morning.
Wow. You look fantastic.
I work with mental challenging clients. So, and when I heard Chrissy that I have one of my clients, and she was telling me the reason she's in this situation is because she was abused. But in my mind, I'm like, I told her, I said, you need a box of grapes
Let's cut cues, guys. Okay, so what we're gonna do? Let's come on this way. Come back, cameraman. This way.
She went completely
Okay,
like these.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna not do. This is what we call her. That would be a reactor. Your actor, she said, get some grits. If you that's what she said.
Rewind.
So
Girl.
we're gonna rewind. But this is what I'm glad she said that. Because when you're triggered, that's what she said that she would do. Girl, go get you some grits and throw it on him. No. That's a reaction. You don't want to get anybody in that space where you are now did what they have done to you. And that's where what I'm attempting to do. Chrissy's actually giving solutions, because what she did was she fought back with the system, and that's why she's fighting with the system to change the laws, policies. Because why is he getting 3 months? Why? And I'm gonna say thank you, Pastor Debra, for being here. She's leaving off. Thank you, Naomi. Bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And when the laws are changed, you can now situate yourself to do things differently. Now, in our community, I want to say the first thing when we're attacked, you got to recognize, what do you do? So in the notion of that, and I'm so glad that Mercie she said what she said, because a lot of us tend to be in the reactive mode. When we're triggered, that's what I was raised with. My mother I find that you was in a very abusive relationship with my stepfather. They fought, they argued, they fight. I mean, it was a constant day-to-day thing. You gotta learn your value, that you are valuable. So anybody else would like to share? And thank you for that, because that was an opportunity. And that's what I'm saying. That was an opportunity right there. Don't look at anything as an obstacle. It's an opportunity to say, how can I shift that to be better? Oh, sure, JL would like to say something.
So, listening to you all wonderful women in here, I'm not a mom or anything, but I do thank my mom for instilling in all of us to be independent. And I'm lucky to have 3 sisters. And I'm noticing that when we were younger, our relationship is very different from when we were younger to now. All my siblings are very independent. They have their own life, they have their own walks of life, they have their own different path. And I noticed that when they would come back, because we all lived in like different areas. So I noticed that when they would come back, our lives are different. And they would talk to me, and when they would pour into me, and it would be like the stuff they went through and the stuff they had to endure. And I was just like, wow, like, you guys are so strong. And they would it's like confiding in me. And I think having this type of conversation is so powerful, because everybody's going through something in their own way. And if you just be a listening ear and just hear people out and just be there for them, and not just like, sometimes all people want is just for you to listen, not just butt in or have to give your input. Listen, because we all are going through things in our own different way. And I'm learning that, as me having 5 siblings is a blessing, because they're each different, and they all come with their own different lives and own different passions and what they want to do in life. And I just want them to know, like, moving forward, that's why I'm glad my mom put this letter in, because I would love to be, not my number one thing is to be the biggest cheerleader for my siblings. Be there, whatever they want to do. And I'm learning that over time, like, we all go through things. That's why it's good to talk things out. It's good to resolve things. And I can be the first to say we all had our issues. As siblings, we used to grow up in screaming household, fighting, and we never had no resolve. We'll just be screaming and then quiet. Yeah. Don't say nothing. There was sometimes I want to speak to my siblings, and that's horrible. I don't want that. And that's where it comes into breaking generational curses, breaking the same old pattern.
Yes.
I don't want that anymore. So I'm glad that we were able to sit down and have this conversation. There's still room. There's still levels that I have to work on. I have to work on JL in order for me to be out. In order for me to give myself, just like she said, it's our time to shine. How can I give myself to shine if I don't focus on me? If I don't work on me? So this was very powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have something to say. I wanted to piggyback off of what Q was saying about the millennial facet of this. We're in the age of information. So there's so much information being thrown at us from so many different avenues. It's so hard to like have a focus. But I'm so grateful for this table because we're able to focus on what we're talking about in this present moment and have multiple generations have their input put in. So we have this conglomerate of like information that we can share with one another and our experiences. I've seen so much in y'all that I did not think I would see today. And I have deep respect for everyone at this table and everyone that's here. It's just been a very much learning and uplifting session today. I'm just very thankful. Thank you guys.
All right. We have someone on Zoom that would like to give a question. We could open up Zoom right now. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to speak. I want to thank Pastor Shirley for inviting me. This has been the most amazing event. I want to say, it's wonderful to see all you queens, but even more especially wonderful to see these young queens.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Powerful.
receive. It's done some amazing things in my heart just to see this.
Yeah.
My takeaways, I have three. I want to say to Rennee, thank you so much for saying this one thing. That we put expectations on our children. I have two boys, and I raised a goddaughter whose mother was on drugs and raped and all kinds of things. And to know that I have to step back from my boys, I'm very close to them. I raise them in the fear and admiration of the Lord. But they're not necessarily walking that walk. And it's okay. It's okay that they're not walking. It's okay that our daughters are not walking. Because the word of God says we sow into them and they will come back. So I'm so excited because what you have said has been exactly what God confirmed. And just need to talk to my son. I want to say to Chrissy, thank you. Because it's not just women. There are men, and I live in a metropolitan area, and there are more men being abused than there are women. And we need to find more help. And if we all have our, if I don't call your name, your title right, please forgive me, Coach Cheryl. We all have purpose, and we have to go out here. We have to create these environments because each one of us is unique. God created us unique to do a certain thing, and we have to do that so that this whole universe can be healed. I heard one of the young girls say, the baby, we have to be healed from our past hurts. Well, our past hurts. Heal people, heal people. Hurt people, hurt people. But we have to do this because we have to be able to reach for people. If we don't do, we have to test ourselves so that we know what we have to do. And the last thing is the response. And I'm being healed. I have been healed and I'm still being healed. It's a process. It's not something that I'm healed today and everything's good. No, we still every year gotta reevaluate and
Her name.
smile often.
Oh, okay, there she is.
But it's a wonderful thing. How often? Thank you for allowing me to share.
You know what? I'm gonna be very honest with you. I did not know how this was gonna turn out. I never did a virtual brunch before, but I think it was really great. I really do think that this was a really great thing. And I think, like my daughter Jeanetta said, I think we need more of this. Like you said, I think we need more conversations. So is it in there now, Empress? So in the chat, you have a letter. You have a you want to write it to. How do you stay present in your relationships? I want you to build a powerful relationship with either your mother if she's gone on, or either if you want to write to someone that you feel like you lost your voice with. I want your communication in this moment to take control over your communication. And that starts with forgiving yourself and forgiving the people around you so you can live powerfully. Now, let me tell you about forgiveness. Forgiveness is not just that you're going to forget. Forgiveness is about that you won't get triggered and do a reactive response that could negatively affect it. So what I want you to always do is what God always loves. He never takes out his love from what he is doing or what she's doing. I call God is genderless. But Jesus came to show us how we can begin to move in this space and love. Okay? So love on your parents. You only get one set. Even if they were horrible, you would not be here. Even if you would say, thank you for giving me life. And I know that there's certain things that you went through that now, because of Chrissy's parents and because of how her mother was, she's able to speak to this more effectively. I'm serious. You went through this. This is what I teach people, how to begin to move that needle. She wouldn't be able to have more of a voice than she does today because of the experience, even from her childhood, my childhood, your childhood. I want you to begin to move that needle. So I want you to take a moment, take a couple of moments and write. You could do it either now. I'm going to give us like 2 minutes. And I want you, I'm going to play a little music, possibly, yes. And I want you to take 2 minutes and I want you to write to someone that you most care about, someone you want to begin to heal a relationship and powerful in your next. Let's go for it.
Is it possible that I could write to myself?
Oh, that's a good one. Jeanette asked could she write to herself. That is the best person to write to. Write to yourself. Write to that little person. Write to when you was violated. Write to when you was feeling like in that moment where you want to forgive yourself so you can step powerfully in that next. If you are still feeling broken, write that letter to your inner self. Yes, Janine. All right. Let's go.
I say to everybody writing them. But okay, I'm just gonna say this is so true. I just gotta say I gotta get out. So I'm healing, okay? Because the last 4 days I've been hearing, write a letter to my husband and to 2 of my sons. Write the letter, that's communication to share what I really feeling.
And so look at that.
I won't say it the wrong way. And then the other thing, I called out of work today. I was struggling with that. Yeah, I work with mental health too. But I was struggling with that, but I did it. And then when I did it, and Ben came, I said, I know I needed to do this. This was God's instruction. That's what I want to say.
Oh, thank you. All right, so let's go with God's instruction. We'll be back in 2 minutes. All right.
In masquerade, never knowing who they're gonna be from day to day. But I've known since I was a girl that I am a queen. And I don't know with every step that I choose to take is who I'm gonna be. You can be who you want to for me. I choose to be happy. You can be, yeah, who you want to. For me, I choose to be happy. Yeah. Everybody, be yourself. There's only one you. Your heart will know everywhere it goes if you're not being true. I believe that happiness resides in your heart. A higher love does exist. It will always be a part of my life. But for me, I choose to be happy. Oh, you can be whatever you want to be. Yeah. As for me, I choose to be happy. Yeah. You can be. For me, I choose to be happy. You can be, yeah, what you wanna be. For me, I choose to be happy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta live your life. You gotta laugh out loud. You gotta sing your song. You gotta love. Come on and dance with me. You gotta dance with me. You gotta look it low. It's gonna be alright. You gotta live your life. You gotta laugh. You gotta sing. You gotta love. Come on and dance. Come on and dance with me. You gotta know it's gonna be alright. You gotta live your life. You gotta love. You gotta sing your song. You gotta love. Come on and dance. Come on and dance with me. You gotta know it's gonna be alright. You gotta live. You gotta love. You gotta sing. You gotta love. Come on and dance. Come on and dance with me. You gotta know it's gonna be alright. You gotta live your life. You gotta love. You gotta sing. You gotta love. Come on and dance. Come on and dance with me. Oh, live your life. Come on and laugh. Sing God's praises. Love yourself. Come on and dance. You gotta dance. You gotta look it though. It's gonna be alright. Somebody sing a song. You gotta dance. Come on and dance with me. You gotta know. I choose to be. I choose to be. I choose to be happy. Hey. You got to live, you gotta laugh, you gotta sing, and you gotta love. Come on and dance, come on and dance with me. You gotta know it's gonna be alright. You can choose to be happy. Hey, no matter what it looks like, no matter how you feel, you can choose to be happy. You gotta love. Come on and dance. You gotta love. You gotta know. I choose to be happy. I gotta sing. I gotta sing, 'cause I love you. Gotta dance. Come on and dance with me. Oh. Celebrate my life, yeah. Sure do. I am for me. I do. In the summertime, nights are warm, and the sun does shine. Yeah, yeah. My dark days will reflect what's on my mind. I believe that happiness
this is really good. I'm glad that we eat up because we get ready to come back and have your.
I'm taking me a
Tasha.
plate as well.
Pardon me?
I'm gonna take 2 plates to go.
Please.
Yeah,
take.
Well, we're back from
That's how she do
our
it.
break
I'm sorry,
here.
Mommy.
Everybody, we're eating. If you're coming in, joining us right now, we are ending our mother-daughter healing brunch, virtual brunch. And I was just telling the ladies that this was our first time having this brunch virtually, and it was a success. What do you guys think? What we ended with writing a letter to different people or just to yourself to how to begin to have a powerful and continuing on to have a powerful life. Is there anybody would have, just want to read an excerpt or something, maybe a takeaway they got from doing this exercise?
Here or out there?
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay, I can start. I'm not gonna read my whole thing. It's a little personal, but mine is basically all right. So I'll read an excerpt out of mine. All right, one of the excerpts says, "Align yourself with the universe and set your intentions, and all will be well. I fully accept what you are and what you are not. Begin to believe in your power, and it will save a lot of grief."
Wow.
Yes.
What they did in the thing? Powerful. Anybody on Zoom would like to open up and say, okay, Coach Jeanetta, I see your hand.
Thank you, Coach Cheryl. Mine says, "Dear Esther Yeboah, I want you always to remember that you are valuable and also that you matter. Never allow others to limit you or define you, but allow the Word of God to define you. The key to success and freedom in life, you must always keep God as the foundation of your life. You are an amazing child who will be a powerful woman leading in the community. Keep your smile. You are so beautiful. Keep your drive to be a doctor because you will change the life of others and the world. Walk boldly, child of God, my beautiful daughter. We are standing here cheering you on."
Wow.
Aww. All right. Anyone else? I know, right? Okay. All right. You don't have to, but this is what I will say. I wanna do something here before I move on. This part of me, I'm full and I'm humble and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for two things. I'm grateful that Jeanetta, Jordan, JL, and Jayla chose me to be their mom. And I am grateful that my mother chose to be strong enough to be my mother. So because of the simple fact, there's certain things that there's a whole thing that has happened with her life. And I'm not talking because of my personality. I'm talking about because of what she went through to get me here. So you only are a representative of your family. So because I'm strong, she's even stronger. Or because I'm strong, there's certain things that I know that these 4 girls are strong about. So I'm looking from an avenue of understanding their uniqueness. So I got each of them something. And I wanted to give them something. JL, Jayla, Jeanetta,
What I do to deserve it?
and Jordan. That's for you, Mom. But it's all the same, but it's a rare diamond. If you can open it up, the diamond earrings and a cross of diamond. And I wanted to make sure that they know that when they put this in their ear, and they put a cross. I always wear a cross,
Yeah.
so
Real special.
around my neck, and I wanted to give them something that says to them, "I love you." And diamonds are a girl's best friend, so I said, might as well give them some diamonds.
Amen, mother. You a good mother.
I decided to give them all, and it's all the same. I was very clear to the jeweler to get them all the same. I learned my lesson, not to give anything different. So it's all the same. So I want to say, I love you. I appreciate you. I love you, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And to my mother, JL, you want to get what we have for her? It doubles as her birthday month. So we wanted to say happy birthday to her. And we have this cake, and I'm so sorry you can't eat it with us. But we say happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday. You know what? I asked her, I said, how old you gonna be this year? She's closer to 70 now, and I was just like, wow. I want to say 15.
Decipher that. You can decipher.
So she's close. She's 69. She'll be 69 on the 26th. And I just wanted to say thank you and give you this as your gift to you. Because I think that would be, and hers is emerald. It's as her birthstone. And I know she gave her the ring, but I said let me give her also her birthstone as well. So she can also have that as her gift. So you guys are rare jewels to me. And I want to thank everyone for sharing my life. I want to say there's going to be more healing moments here. I can see that already. So I want to thank you, Mercie, for being here. I appreciate your beautiful self and your beautiful daughters. Thank you. Thank you, Stacy, for being here. And your beautiful daughter. Thank you so much. I want to thank you, Jeanetta, and you know my Princess Esther. I love you to life. Evangelist Rennee, thank you for sharing your story and being so transparent with your story. And tell them one more time how they can get your book.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the.
I said, tell them one more time how they can get connected with to get your book.
You can find my book on Amazon, and it's From Bound to Found.
Now to found. Rennee, I'm definitely Evangelist Rennee, I definitely want to connect with you. Let's do an interview so we can talk further in how we can begin for people to begin to build their self and be able to move in that avenue. Okay?
Definitely. Thank you.
Amen. All right. Pastor Debra left off already, and Chrissy Monroe, the link will be open. GoFundMe. And also, Speak Your Power Now is a movement. I am on a mission for people to find their voice. So I'm pleased and excited about whoever joined us. We are having an event. My team will have a fit if I did not do this at the end. So I'm going to give away a ticket. It's going to be in the tri-state area, New York area, and it's going to be on June 24th. And I'm going to pick 25th. Oh, yeah, there you go.
25th.
Yeah, there you go.
25th.
June 25th, 2022. I got that right. It's going to be another brunch. And I love our brunches. And I think we do well in it. So here goes a name, and let somebody else read the name up there. Let's say the number, and she'll tell it. The number and the name.
Number 1.
Oh, number 1. What was the name?
Angelique Kirby.
Angelique Kirby. All right, so let's get right here. Who's Angelique Kirby? Do you know Angelique Kirby?
Thank you.
Oh! You're beautiful. Yeah. All right. So the next time we're going to be meeting for our next brunch is June 24th. I will be in person.
25th.
Oh my gosh, why do I keep doing that? I gotta do that again. Meet us June 25th, 2022. We are powerfully moving into our summer, and we're going to be networking with people. So you want to begin to move powerfully in this summer. How do you want to speak your power? How do you want to begin to move with people, like-minded people? You want to be in this place, in the space where we're going to have yummy food as always. We're going to have some endless mimosas, and we're going to have a time where we're going to begin to fellowship. And you're going to see where we're going to begin to move your next by speaking your power now. Peace and blessings. I want to thank the tech team in the background.
Yeah.
I want to thank Empress. Come on, camera, Empress. Come on, let everybody see your beautiful face. Now, you probably either heard her, saw her, did her. She bosses me around in the back. She bosses me around in the back. There you go. She be like, do this, Cheryl, do that. I'm joking. No, I'm for real. I'm for real. Yeah, she does. But I want to say thank, and I want to thank I want to thank my husband and little Gregory for they helped prepping the stuff up here. It was a family thing, and it was also you're part of the family here now. So I want to say thank you so much for everyone being a part. And when you begin to move the needle in your life, so you can move the needle for someone else's life. So speaking your power now is all about finding your voice in the matter. He's not coming?
I think so.
Okay, he's coming. All right. So I just want to say that stay connected. You can go to www.speakyourpowernow.com. It's so simple, so easy to stay connected in that vein. And I want you to say, this is an opportunity to stay connected. Come on. I wanted to say thank you to, I want to say thank you to my husband. If you also saw it, he's a part of Speak Your Power Now. Well, they didn't see you because he was on LA. Oh, okay, they got it. All right. So thank you. You want to say anything, Clarky?
Go visit www.speakyourpowernow.com.
All right, thank you. All right. So the tickets are early bird. Q, the early birds are up yet?
Yeah, early birds are up.
All right. See how she bossing me around? So it's telling me SYPNbrunch.com. How simple is that? Go get your early bird ticket. Be a part of what this organization does. We help people find their voice. If you're in the tri-state area, come join us, where we're going to be connecting you with your voice, connecting people with other things that we're going to be doing. I'm also unveiling my coaches program that we're going to be moving. If you find yourself needing a coach, wanting a coach, the academy is also there. I'm shifting people communication to speak powerfully in there now. Peace and blessings. Thank you. And remember to stay in your space to be powerful on today. Peace. All right. We just, this was